M23 is one of the most active and controversial armed groups in the country that has been fighting the government of DRC since 2012. But it has resurfaced in 2022, causing a renewed of violence and instability in the eastern part of the country. Who are these rebels and what do they want? How and when were they formed? In this video, we will take a scientific approach by isolating this group from the rest and study it like we would a human with wings. The findings will be presented and together think of a long-lasting solution for peace in the region. This video is not meant to promote or endorse them, because how do you even begin contributing to solving a problem if you do not fully understand it? So I started with, why was it formed in the first place? This is what I found. In 2009, the government of DRC and the CNDP rebels, who had been fighting in the eastern part of the country since 2006, signed a peace deal and an agreement in front of the former Nigerian president Obasanjo and other personalities. The agreement aimed to end the conflict by transforming the CNDP into a political party, integrating its fighters into the national army, and ensuring the political representation and economic development for the region. The agreement also included the disarmament and repatriation of the FDLR militia, which was linked to the 1994 genocide in Rwanda and accused of committing atrocities in DRC. I'll leave the links of the agreement in the pinned comment so you can, have a look for yourself. However, the agreement was not fully implemented and faced many challenges. Now, M23 emerged in 2012 from a mutiny of the former CNDP members who had joined the Congolese army as part of the 2009 deal. The name M23 refers to the date of the deal, March 23rd. They rebelled in 2012, accusing the Congolese government of not respecting their agreement, and they left the national army with all the military equipment they could carry to form M23. Side note, recently when asked where they get their weapons from, they claimed whenever they win a battle, they acquire more weapons. Now the question becomes, who are they and what do they want? M23 rebels claim they want the Congolese government to respect and implement the agreement they signed in 2009, and they have been requesting to meet with the government to discuss it. However, it seems that the government is not very interested in meeting them and talking with them anymore. But before I go on, I should mention that M23 is a group that is mainly, but not exclusively, made of people from a Rwandophone community. Rwandophones are speakers of Kinyarwanda, which is the language spoken in Rwanda. This community has a long history of discrimination, persecution, and conflict in the Kivu region in DRC. Now, the first question that should come to mind is, what are people who speak a language that is native to Rwanda doing in DRC? This is a controversial issue for some people, but let's hear what Mwalimu Nyerere, the former president of Tanzania, had to say about it. By the way, his views were echoed by Thabo Mbeki, the former South African president, in an interview published on May 25, 2023 by the South African news channel SABC. I will leave the link to that video in the pinned comment, and I suggest you watch the full video as he also speaks on other conflicts across the continent.
The kingdom of Rwanda was partitioned between the Germans and the Belgians. And the Belgians took a part of the kingdom of Rwanda, the traditional kingdom of Rwanda, with the people. So when we say respect that border, which was agreed between the Germans and the Belgians, we must also be saying respect the people whom you received under that partition. You can't turn around and say, we no longer want you. You are no longer citizens of our country. What are you going to do? Are you going to return them alone, or you return them with the piece of land? You can't say go home. Home where? We couldn't in Tanzania get fed up with the Maasai and say the Maasai go home to Kenya. Kenya is not their home. These are Maasai of Tanzania. and my friend Moi can't, for some reason or other, get fed up with the Masai of Kenya and say, go back to Tanzania. That it's not back to Tanzania. They've never been in Tanzania. Zaire, I'm told, passed some law which said the so-called Banyamulenge are not Zaire citizens anymore. This was a change. That first, at independence, they were regarded as, citizens. And then later, a new law was passed which denationalized them.
Now back to the story. The M23 rebellion began in 2012 but was defeated in December 2013 due to an offensive led by the Congolese government and UN troops. The group surrendered through a regional deal. The group was dismantled, disarmed, and some of its members fled to neighboring countries, and others were sent into camps in Uganda by the Congolese government with the promise of being reintegrated in the national army. However, the underlying causes of the conflict were unresolved. Now, in March 2022, almost 10 years later, the group resurfaced and decided to leave their camps in Uganda, pick up weapons, and enter DRC, and they seized the town of Bunagana, bordering Uganda. The national forces were caught by surprise and had no option but to flee the town. Once again, the M23 accused the Congolese government of not acting on their agreement. Listen, the first thing that came to mind that day was, what were the Congolese intelligence services doing? How do you send former rebels former rebels into another country without checking their temperature on a daily basis? Let's be honest. Taking over a town requires preparation, training, especially a bordering town, unless the national army was poorly trained, poorly equipped, and underpaid. Which one is it? Now, according to experts, M23 is one of the most powerful, organized, and notorious rebel group in DRC, where more than 100 plus armed group operates. They pose a serious threat to the peace and security of the region and to the lives and rights of millions of civilians. You see, DRC has accused Rwanda of backing the M23 rebels, but Rwanda has always denied its involvement. In turn, Rwanda has accused DRC of working with the FDLR rebels who threatened the national security of Rwanda, but DRC has always denied this. Now, in April of 2022, the Congolese government invited all the rebel groups except ADF rebels to meet in Nairobi to find a solution to this crisis, but many failed to show up due to logistical problems. However, the government invitation to meet with the rebel group was not well received by the Congolese political class. There was a clash of opinions. Some politicians believe that the rebels must be defeated militarily, while others believe negotiations will be the best solution to preserve human life in the eastern part of the country. You see, this is another video to show another aspect of this conflict in DRC, which I have covered in previous videos, and I will continue to do so. Now, the comment section is open, but before you comment, remember this. DRC is not just a country of war and violence. It is also a country of hope and resilience.
We, ni nini?